Hello, everyone, and welcome to this short lesson on web application security. My name is Matthew Eddy, and today I'm going to be talking about a penetration tool that we can use for testing our web applications. Now, the name of the tool is called Zed Attack Proxy, or ZAP for short. And ZAP is a free open source penetration testing tool that we can use for testing our web applications. And at its core, ZAP is a man in the middle proxy, meaning that it stands between uh, the web application, our front end application, and our web server. So our browser and our web server. And ZAP can do things such as intercept the messages, inspect those messages, and then forward those messages, even modify the messages, and then forward those onto the server, possibly providing some bad data. And it also has a few other features that we're going to use or we're going to check out to see how we can conduct our penetration testing. Now, before we get started, I'm over here on the ZAP website and I'm on the download page. And this is where you come to download the ZAP application. You simply just click on the button that pertains to your particular operating system, run the installer, and you're good to go. Now, before we take a look at ZAP, let's take a look at the application we're going to be doing some penetration testing on. The application is called the OWASP Juice Shop. And for those of you who may not be familiar, OWASP is a nonprofit foundation that is out here working to improve the security for software applications. And OWASP has designed this application, this Juice Shop app, specifically for penetration testing. So it has a lot of issues with it. And if you would like to get this Juice Shop application up and running on your computer, it has a repository. And you can clone the repository, install the dependencies, and run the application. It also has a Docker option as well as a Vagrant and VirtualBox option. All right, wonderful. So now we know a little bit about our Juice Shop app that we're going to be testing, as well as where we can go to get our testing tool. Let's take a look at our testing tool, the ZAP app. Now, when you run ZAP and you start the application, the welcome screen or the quick start tab will be the tab that pops up. Now, on this view right here, or on this tab, you have the options for automated scan and manual explore. These are your two penetration testing options. For automated scan, it makes full use of spiders to conduct your penetration testing and security analysis. And we'll see what that means here in just a second. The manual explorer pretty much does what the name suggests. It allows you to manually conduct your penetration testing on your application. So if you have a particular use case that you're looking for that the spiders may not be covering, you can use the manual option. Now, the manual explorer will in fact pull up a browser window. And once you launch the manual explorer, it is going to provide you with all of the features that ZAP comes with. So you can see here, you can still make your, still use your spiders and have your alerts and so forth. And you can navigate your OWASP Juice Shop and conduct your penetration testing that way. But for this demonstration, we're going to stick with the automated option. Now, the automated option, like the manual, takes a URL, and that's going to be the URL that you're going to want to conduct your penetration testing on, the URL of your application. It then has this option for traditional spider or Ajax spider. Now, the difference between the two is that the Ajax spider is able to detect dynamic content, so content that is picked up from or received from the server, whereas the traditional spider will not be able to pick up on that content. And in most modern web applications, they do have some type of dynamic content, content that builds the UI based on some contingency received from the server. Okay, so For the automated option, I'm going to provide, or I've already provided the URL of the juice shop, and I have the Ajax spider selected, and I'm going to choose Chrome hitless. From here, I just simply hit attack, and the spider starts conducting its security analysis. And pretty much what it's doing, as you can see down here, it's calling all of these URLs, and these URLs represent or lead to resources. These resources are what the application uses to conduct or provide its services, right? So if we take a look at just some of these resources here, you can see that it makes a request to REST languages. It even makes a request to the vendor.js and looks for any type of security issues that could be in regard to that resource, right? Once it's finished conducting its security analysis or crawling all of the resources, it will then provide us some alerts. And we can look at these alerts and we can kind of understand about what the security issues or what security issues could be found with this application. So for instance, I click on this vulnerable JS library, and you can see here it says jQuery version 2.2.4 is vulnerable, and that I should upgrade to the latest version of jQuery. Okay, and so this is just some of the information that the spider has found, and as you can see here, it is now finishing up, and voila, it is now finished, and it pulls up the alerts tab, and again we have 19 alerts. All right, and so now we know a little bit that the application has some security issues, and we want to go ahead and kick off our penetration testing. So let's jump back over here to the application, the Juice Shop application, and just by looking at the application, we can look at some of the features. We can see that this application provides us a list of products, right? These are all the products that this Juice Shop offers. It also has this search feature, right? And so I can type into this search feature and type in apple juice, hit enter, and it will narrow down my products just to the apple juice or whatever I type in here if it's available. And it also has this account option right here, which takes us to a login screen, and we can log in, right? If we're not a user, we can create an account and then register ourselves. All right, so now we know a little bit about the application. Let's start thinking in terms of penetration testing. How do we hack this application and use it in other ways that it was intended to be used, right? So to do that, we need to know a little bit about the backend technologies, right? In particularly, we need to know about the database. And why the database? Well, because the database is the centerpiece of a application, right? It holds all the data, holds all of our products, right, that we search for when we come to the Juice Shop. It holds all of our users, all of our accounts for the Juice Shop. And so if we want to penetrate this application, the target is probably going to be the database. And so that's what we're going to start for this lesson. Okay, and so looking at this application, we need to know a little bit about the database. And just by looking at it, you really can't tell if it's a NoSQL or a MySQL. Although, you could probably take a guess and, say, hey, most modern applications or most applications use MySQL. But if you worked on applications enough, you can very well build this with either flavor, SQL or NoSQL. However, we can use ZAP to understand this application a little bit more. So let's pull up the ZAP app and let's scroll down here to look at some of the resources that pertains to this application. And indeed, you can see there is a REST resource. And in this REST resource, it has a product resource. And this product has a request called search, right? And here is the request that it makes to the backend server. So it's saying that HTTP localhost REST product search for an empty string. When that happens, what is the response? Well, the response is all of the products. These are all the products that we see here when we are at the juice shop, right? So that is that endpoint that it is making, right? And so, as a matter of fact, if I go in and I just type anything into our, or let's see if I do space and type enter, as you can see here, it has that same URL. Okay, now with this query string parameter, this implies that, hey, I am making a request to the backend and I'm expecting to get some type of response back when a valid string is provided. And so from this, we can try to exploit our database. And as a matter of fact, that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, I just tried to type in some empty string, and as you can see, that didn't work. And that's because the browser encodes certain characters and makes them possible or available for the request to happen. So the spaces are now being replaced by these percent signs here, right? So to properly exploit this request, we can use the ZAP app, right? And we can right click on this search or this request here, and then we can click on the open and resend with request editor. Now when we do this, we are now able to modify the request and then send that off to the server. So if this is a MySQL database, it might be prone to SQL injection. So let's try some SQL injection. I'm going to type in the open quote and the backslash or the dash dash, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit send, and voila, there it is, SQLite error, and it even shows us the query that it uses to fetch all of our products. So now we know that this application is indeed or is using a MySQL database. Okay, so we can conduct some more penetration testing on this application through the means of SQL injection. So let's see how we can do that. Over here on the right hand side, we have accounts. Let's go to the login here and let's click on not a customer yet. We're going to create an account. We're not going to use that one. We're going to use my@email.com, and we're going to give it a password of pass123, right? And we're going to, or we have to type in our repeat password, pass123, and then we're going to select a security question, which will be older siblings, and we'll say blah there, right? That's fine. And then we'll hit register. All right, so now we have my@email with a password of pass123, and when we log in, myemail.com, excuse me, and password 123, and when we log in, we are logged in. All right, wonderful. Now we already picked up that the database is prone to SQL injection. Now that we have a user created, let's see if we can bypass the login option together and use some SQL injection there. So I'm going to very quickly log out, and I'm going to go back over here to the login option, and instead of email, I'm going to type in backtick. Oh, see, there it goes already. My browser already knows because I've been testing this out, and it has the backtick email : open quotation mark or 1 or a quotation mark 1 end quotation mark equals open quotation mark 1. That's pretty long there. Now, what this is saying, what this SQL injection attack is really saying is that when the email is true, right? Because 1 equals 1, right? And the ticks here in the open quotation marks allows us to escape that that query string that we saw here that the query is using. right? And so this is how we get out of that query here, and we are able to conduct our SQL injection. So now all we have to do is go and type in the password for pass1 equals 1, and I'm going to call this pass123 and log in. And voila, again, we are now logged into the juice shop, right? And we have an account here, but this one is called for some email, right? And that's because I've already registered this email with the same password, right? But just for demonstration purposes, I'll do it with another password here, register, and we'll just call this test at email.com, and we'll give it a new password as in 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then we'll say 1 2 3 4 5 6. So security question, and we'll just call it blah again, and we'll hit register. Okay, now we'll use our backtick. Backtick. Email colon open 1 close quotation equals open quotation 1, and then we'll type in 1 2 3 4, and then or 5 6. We also need that 5 6 on there, and then we'll hit log in. And here we get an invalid option, and that's because we do not have the or sign on there. My apologies. So we'll need that. Open quotation, or, close quotation, or. Now we'll hit login. And let's see here. Oh, we need the, well, you know what? Let me just go here and copy that and paste it in here because I deleted that. And now we have our SQL injection attack here, and now we'll hit login, and we are logged in with the test account now. So now when we come here, it says test at email. This is the one we just created, and so we have now seen how we can bypass the email, and that this application is prone to SQL injection attacks. Let's also take a look or head back over to the ZAP app, and let's also see how we can further conduct some investigation on this application. So we have this REST resource here, and it has this admin section right here. And if I was conducting some penetration testing, something that says admin might seem pretty promising. So let's just head over to see if we can use that resource. So if I come over here and I type in REST, right, because it's under the REST URL, and I type in admin, nothing happens. Okay, what if I remove this hashtag here, and voila, as you can see here, we now understand what type of framework this application is using, which means that we can further conduct our penetration testing on our juice shop application. And so these are just a few options that you can use ZAP app, the ZAP app, to exploit the OWASP juice shop. Let me just go back here, and it has a lot more features that you can use. Now, I said that this application was ripe with security issues, and I will show you what I mean by that. So it has a scoreboard here that you can use for this application. If you type into your browser localhost 3000 dash score or / score dashboard and hit enter, here are all the security issues that you can find with this OWASP juice shop application, right? And so you can try to pick up or find out where the metrics page is. And indeed, this application is using Prometheus to expose some gather some metrics about the application, and the metrics in the metrics endpoint is at you guessed it, /metrics. You have to remove the hashtag, and when you do that, voila, here it is. You have all the metrics that are being collected by Prometheus right here. And so this information may be exploited as well. It may, can be used for some other type of investigation or some type of analysis or whatever. But going back to our juice shop scoreboard, it keeps a running tally once you find all of these issues with the for example, you can log in as the admin. Once you find all of these issues, you will level up on the juice shop. And as you can see here, I've only found 4 of the 169, so I barely even got a star there. And so already we're at 21 minutes, and I definitely want to keep this video short. This here is the ZAP application. It's mainly used for penetration testing, and you can find it at the zapproxy.org page, right? Download the application. Definitely feel free to check out its documentation. They have some videos that goes more into detail about how you can use the ZAP application, and even how you can contribute, because it is open source. All right, so this is going to wrap up this video. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to check out the documentation. And as always, take care.